Those families are suffering immense pain right now. Think of this as if it were your own. Every one of us needs to be wrapping our arms around these families, giving them every ounce that we can muster. These were Minneapolis families. These were American families. And the amount of pain that they are suffering right now is extraordinary. And don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in a church. These are kids that should be learning with their friends. They should be playing on the playground. They should be able to go to school or church in peace without the fear or risk of violence, and their parents should have the same kind of assurance. These are the sort of basic assurances that every family should have, every step of the day, regardless of where they are in our...
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Petersen. You're watching and listening live to the Wake Up America show on the For Liberty Network. That's my lovely wife, Stephanie.
Is it Freedom Family Friday?
Not yet, but
I'm here.
This is just the kind of topic that you really need a therapist for, honestly. And guess what? I have a licensed therapist in my house.
Hello. So you all have to pay me $100 an hour.
An hour. That's minimal for what you deserve. Good morning to Eric John, pizza artist. We've been chatting this morning. Derek Mollier, Relaxing McGroin, Drew Van Ruckel. It's never too soon to make jokes, but we are going to have a kind of a somber first part of our show this morning. But I promise you're going to lighten up. And because Stephanie's here, and because Brad would not shut up about it yesterday, we will talk about the Taylor Swift Travis Kelce marriage.
Oh my gosh, yes. I had a dream about it. I saw Taylor Swift at the mall.
Man, girls got Taylor Swift on their brains. So ladies, 8:30 this morning, we will be talking about that. The man that you just saw there, Mayor Jacob Frey, don't say this is just about thoughts and prayers right now. The left hates religious people so much that they have to pretend that they're outraged about these kids dying so that they can go after guns.
He certainly seemed very upset, like he's putting on an act.
He is putting on an act. And the man standing behind him had never seen such shit in his life. After he made those comments, you can see, look, here's the guy, look, the guy behind him, standing behind him. He makes
the white-haired man?
The white-haired man. You can see his face, change when he goes in there and talks about, don't say this is about thoughts and prayers. They're talking about holding a pride rally for trans people. Mm-hmm. The freaking governor of that state, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Minnesota is like a safe haven for LGBTQ. That's where a lot of them move to.
That community is disgusting, and look what it has birthed us. Look what it has given us. We're going to talk about this disgusting crime committed against our fellow Americans. It's not going to be an easy broadcast. We've covered a lot of tough stories, but the one that unfolded in Minneapolis yesterday is one of the darkest and most heartbreaking that I've seen. This was at the Annunciation Catholic School and Church. Children gathered for a back-to-school mass. Evil walked through stained glass windows in the form of Robert Westman, a 23-year-old biologically male shooter who identified as transgender. Armed with multiple firearms, he killed 2 young children, just 8 and 10 years old, and injured 17 others before taking his own life. So, dead naming a murderer. What do you think, Stephanie? Okay, not okay?
Dead naming, you mean like giving his actual name?
Right. So, the ultimate insult to these psychopaths like this is to not call them Robin.
Call them their natural birth name. Right. Oh yeah. A lot of transgender individuals are very offended if anyone finds out what their biological birth name was.
So then if there's one way that we could desecrate their memory, then dead naming Robert would be...
Oh yeah. He'd probably be very upset because he did change his name in Minnesota. So I think his documents say Robin.
Yeah, it's hard to know what you feel or think about when you're in hell, but we can speculate today. The facts that have come out are pretty sickening. A manifesto filled with anti-Semitic bile. Didn't like Jews, no surprise there.
Which is so weird to me. Why would you open fire on a Catholic church? Because
They hate all of them.
Catholics have been known to also be mad at Jews in the way past, right?
You're trying to apply logic to someone who's
I
renounced
know.
the use of it, right?
Because it's like, well, if you really hate Jews that much, you weren't going to find Jews at a Catholic church. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And yesterday I actually called it before it happened, and I posted it on Facebook. I took it down just because I didn't want to deal like that's my personal Facebook and stuff like that, and like people I grew up with are liberals and stuff. So I just try and
my mother and
yeah,
sister
and I just try. I try and keep it. I try and keep it like kosher to some extent on my personal page, not my professional pages where I am who I am.
Yeah.
But I had said after the shooting was over, I was like, let's play a game, Muslim or trans. And guess what?
No. Yeah, you called it,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah. How did I know?
I mean, there's been a lot of shooters that have been just white men.
No.
So
Well, no, they've been born a woman. White woman born,
right.
yeah.
But like Columbine,
because this
those
wasn't
were
the
just
first time.
those were just regular white guys. And then there was like a movie theater killer, that guy who had the green hair. He was a
Colorado.
white guy. Yeah, so it's like there's been enough
Trans-
white, cisgender men.
Trans. They might as
Right.
well all be trans because they're mentally ill. Stephanie, you're a licensed therapist. You're going to be the sweet person. You're going to be my good cop. I'm going to be the bad cop today.
Oh, well, you can't deny facts. Like you said, transgender individuals do have mental health disorders.
It's a mental illness. They're sick.
Well, in addition to gender dysphoria, which is what they usually
Which is
have,
an illness.
usually there's also depression, anxiety. There's usually other mental health disorders that happen with it, because being transgender is going to really get you down and cause you a lot of issues. So then there's a lot of other mental health issues that go along with it.
Yeah. At 8:00 this morning, we're going to have Camellia Peterson on the show. She's going to join us to break down the politics, why the press always seems more interested in shielding ideology than telling the truth about what happened. ABC News running cover for the shooter. Take a listen to how they reported on it.
We've also been going through it and can tell you there are crude diagrams of the church. There are also photos of the weapons, and they include all sorts of writings, the names of past mass shooters, criticism of Israel, the name of President Trump written on the guns. There are also racial slurs, nihilistic statements, all painting the picture of a disturbed individual who carried out this mass shooting.
Now, did you notice the way that he wrote that was not a mistake, Stephanie? Did you notice the way that he said that when he talked about the names that were on the guns?
This man.
Did you hear the way that he reported on that? Very slick, the way that the media manipulates. Did you note that?
No.
Listen to how he reports on this again. It's very subtle. It took me a career to figure out exactly how the media manipulates us with words. But instead of saying, can you see what it says? Don't say out loud yet. I don't want to color people who are listening to the audio version later's opinion of it. Don't say it out loud. But do you note the 3 words that are on that right there?
Yeah, there's like
with
a president on
and
it.
there's a word before it.
Yeah.
Don't say that word
Yeah.
yet. Okay. Now listen to the way that he reports that name on that firearm.
We've also been going through it and can tell you there are crude diagrams of the church. There are also photos of the weapons, and they include all sorts of writings, the names of past mass shooters, criticism of Israel, the name of President Trump written on the guns. There are also racial.
Okay. Did you notice that?
So he just wrote the name of the president.
Yeah, as if one would think, like, oh, if you were listening to that, right, if you hadn't seen that, if you'd heard that report, you might think, oh, they had Donald Trump written on their name. There are people out there, Stephanie, who are blaming this on Donald Trump.
Oh, for sure.
And, but the first thing they do is they think it's because Donald Trump stirred up some white man. But now you can say it.
Yeah, this is a MAGA supporter.
Exactly, because they didn't say what it actually says on there. What does it say on there? Which is a pretty important part of this story.
It says KILL.
It says kill Donald Trump. Kill Donald Trump. They didn't report that it said kill Donald Trump. They reported that it had his name on the
Right.
gun.
So it could be like a Jew-hating Donald Trump supporter based on what this guy is saying.
Right. It could be like a Nick Fuentes
Right,
fan,
right.
a Groyper
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. I call this Reddit brain. I left Reddit long ago. You want to talk about one of the biggest cancers in our society. One of the things that is one of the websites that is, it's one of the worst websites that has ever been created. It's called Reddit. And when I say the worst, I mean it is a wretched hive of scum and villainy. Even the libertarians on there are trash. All of them. As a matter of fact, there's like a libertarian forum on there. And you know what? They're probably all like this shooter. For the most part, the people who are in the libertarian Reddit forum are these kinds of people. They're psychopath, lunatic, transgender flag waving leftists, LARPing as libertarians. And this story is at the perfect sort of cross avenues of society of where America is today. Because what are the big stories? Catholicism making a comeback, transgenderism rearing its ugly head, anti-Semitism rearing its ugly head, guns and mass shootings, a modern problem that we're all dealing with. It is the
Did
nexus.
you say the Palestine, Gaza stuff too?
Yeah, because
Oh, okay, yeah.
When you say anti-Semitism,
Oh, yeah.
It's all under that umbrella.
Right. That's true. Yeah, it brings up all of the issues of today. Everything that matters to people right now.
Yes, everything that matters to people today, all in one horrific story. And Camellia is going to join us at 8 a.m. to talk about it. And then at 8:30 this morning, we're just going to walk away and we're going to wash our hands and we're going to say, we've got to live our lives and try and live and act like as normally as we can and not let things like this poison us against the world.
Because I talk to people who they cry at night thinking about all of the horrors of the world, all of the children that are dying all over the world. And it's like, that really gets to people when all you see on television is just children dying left, right, in Gaza and Israel, here in America. It's like, where are children not dying? And how can you be at peace with that?
Yeah. I mean, it's easy. The amount of woes that we have are infinite. Like, the amount of troubles that are in the world are endless, limitless. That's why I never understood the Israel obsession and the Gaza obsession with so many people. You've got so many libertarians in the United States who are like, every day they're just jerking off to war porn from Gaza and Hamas and screaming about the babies and all this stuff. And it's like,
Right.
we don't have time to give a shit, for the most of us in our lives. When it starts to get close to our lives and our families, then we can give a shit. Then we can care a little bit more when it starts to affect us or impact us. But for the most part, the United States, fairly peaceful compared to the rest of the world.
No, for sure.
War-torn regions of Africa, the shitholes of Eastern Europe and the Ukraine-Russia war. It's a wonderful thing here. So when 9/11 happens or when something like this happens here in the United States, then it makes sense to get involved in it, interested in it. It affects us. It matters to us. Right. And if we should be focused on our own society to some extent, maybe that makes me a little more isolationist in a certain way. But if you were to look at the world all the time and always be caring about the world, if you really are like a globalist in a sense, then you will never be happy because for the most part in the United States, for the most part, we can be happy. Things like this happen. Terrorism does happen. Things do happen. We do have insecurity in certain cities and areas of our country. But for the most part, we don't have to worry about what the rest of the world is doing. But if you did, you will find endless suffering, endless woe. And you can wrap yourself in the blanket of right. And people also love to wrap themselves in the blanket of self-righteousness. And people love to have a cause that makes them feel the performative, right? Then
where they're like, I have to go out to Africa. I have to help these children.
Right. They pretend to care about them.
Right.
So that they can get the Instagram photo with the black child that's starving.
Oh, yeah. We've seen some of those where there's like a beautiful blonde woman on the street in like an impoverished area. And she looks like she's helping a homeless person, but she just like stood there to take a photo, and then she gets back into her Escalade and drives away. Oh yeah, absolutely. It's all performative.
Yeah. Our friends are donating. They're saying,
Really?
Quest says, occasionally I have a bad day, but I know life is a good gift from God, and I'm grateful. Thank you. And I think I saw Drew Van Runkle dropped $1 in earlier. So we do have the bonus content. Last night was kind of a crazy night for us with the baby and 2 karate classes back to back. So we didn't have time to book another celebrity. However, if we do raise $75, we do have a new mini documentary today. And we do still have the chance to get Will Smith on the show. He's promised that if we did raise his therapy bill for Jada, him and Jada, that he would make an appearance today. He's that desperate.
I know.
After the news did you hear about this with his crowd? He was using AI to bump up his crowd sizes.
Yeah, I didn't see the actual picture or anything.
I will pull it up if he comes on.
Okay.
But he apparently, he's doing this publicity tour because everybody's like, kind of mad at him. They lost respect after he slapped Chris Rock a couple years ago.
Sure. He's still a good actor.
He is. But he got cucked by Jada, and he's never been the same since.
Yeah.
So, anyways, he could be here with us today if we raise his therapy bill. So, if you would like to see from Will Smith, he will be on the show today.
Yeah, therapists are expensive. People pay quite a bit.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Quest. Thank you, Laissez-Faire, bro. Hopefully, we can get Walls out of Minnesota. Yeah.
Who's Walls?
Tim Walls.
Oh.
Almost was the vice president of the United States. Thank you,
yeah,
Quest.
I already forgot who he was.
And see, that's how you live a good life. So Robin was Robert Westman, 23, biologically male, transgender identity, anti-Semitic writings, kill Trump's slogans. That fits a pattern that the left doesn't want to acknowledge. Here's some context. Nashville in 2023, this was another trans shooter, Audrey Hale, killed 6 at a Christian school. The manifesto was buried by the media. Colorado Springs, 2022, a Club Q shooter claimed non-binary identity. The media used it to deflect. Aberdeen, Maryland, 2018, trans shooter killed 3 coworkers, struggled with gender dysphoria and despair. The media, the politicians, they're blaming guns. The left is blaming conservatives. They're blaming our Second Amendment rights. We are a culture that glorifies mental illness. We coddle radical ideologies, and we silence truth tellers. And we wonder why our society produces monsters like this. We have created a system whereby becoming a victim, being diagnosed as mentally ill is seen as a positive in our community, in our society. People compete, especially young people. They compete for mental illness. Stephanie, you and I were saying the other day, we're like, okay, is that like the only child that hasn't been diagnosed with ADHD? And it's like every other child pretty much is. Right. Everybody's Stephanie, you know this. Everybody's seeking to be diagnosed, are they not?
Oh my gosh, yes. I have people all the time who are like, I have all these symptoms. I can't focus. I forget things when I step into a room. I procrastinate. I think I have ADHD. I think I have autism. And I'm just like, well, maybe you should go talk to a psychologist or a psychiatrist and they can get you some real testing. But yeah, people basically beg you to tell them that they have ADHD and autism nowadays.
They want to be diagnosed. They want to be mentally ill. I don't
know if it's just they want closure. They want to understand why they are the way they are, and they want like the easy answer rather than just being like, well, a lot of things have probably caused you to forget things. So it's not just, oh, you have this diagnosis. I mean, there's a lot of things that have occurred that have led to this. So, but everyone wants the easy answer.
Mayor Frey, the one who was making the comments earlier about talking down on thoughts and prayers, he sort of doubled down. He did an interview on CNN later. He sort of doubled down on that rhetoric.
5 years ago was Robert, then a name change to Robin. Okay. This is being seized in all corners, as you can imagine, in all sorts of ways. And you know that, Mayor. And perhaps that's why when you spoke about this so profoundly and powerfully as you are even here now, but when you spoke about this today publicly, you voiced concern for the transgender community, for the community overall. And obviously, you chose to do that in that moment because you thought it was important. And I wanted to give you a chance to say why you felt it important to do that in that moment?
Obviously, I've heard about the rhetoric and the narrative that is being pushed out, but here's the thing. Anybody that is going to use this as an opportunity to villainize our trans community or any community has lost touch with a common humanity. We got to be operating not out of hate for any group, but out of a love for our children. That's where the focus needs to be right now. A love for our kids, seeing these kids not just as somebody else's kids, this horrific thing happened, but what if it was our own? How would we feel then? So, look, we need to be standing up for every community out there, a Catholic community too, by the way. I mean, any community that suffers this kind of blow or
they know that they buy votes using children. Mm-hmm. They know children get to everybody. They get to the libertarian people. Mm-hmm. You know, libertarians are sad over the children in Gaza. So children is the easy way to lure people in.
Yeah, yeah. This is MSNBC on this yesterday.
As an elected official, you are on the ground with your folks and you appreciate this journey. I agree with the mayor. I'm not, the thoughts and prayers, I'm so beyond that nonsense, the lie of that.
I mean, she's a very religious Muslim. And
what?
Because what we have are people who continue to stand in the way of actually doing something to stop the violence against their own kids. It is amazing to me. We watch young kids die in classrooms and now in church. And all we get are thoughts and prayers. What, as an elected official?
They really hate the thoughts and prayers stuff there. Jesus.
I mean, prayers don't hurt anything. It's okay to send positive thoughts and prayers to everybody.
Most of them are atheists, and,
right.
and they really hate religion and religious people.
And I think the thing also in this case is religious trauma. This transgender person must have had some sort of trauma in church, because guess how he had a connection to this church. His mother worked there. His mother worked there for years, I think starting in 2016. So that's why he targeted this church. It wasn't just some random church. So I have a feeling his mother was probably a devout Catholic. She probably pushed Catholicism on him from a young age. And then when he came out as transgender, she probably was not very accepting of that. The church was not accepting of that. They made him feel guilty. I mean, and on it goes. So it's like he's really dealing with some issues from going to church all these years, and now he's angry at mom and church.
And the Jews on the right in his.
Yeah, I don't know what the Jews did to him.
In his writings, well, listen to this. In his writings, 6 million wasn't. You have to understand, like the resurgence of anti-Semitism on the right is a relatively new phenomenon, but it's more like endemic on the left. So he wrote in his journal, 6 million wasn't enough, which is the Jews.
Well, at least he recognizes the Holocaust happened.
And then say, exactly, there you go, not a Holocaust denier.
At least you recognize 6 million died. Just saying, there's a lot of those out there that say they didn't. So, thank you.
They didn't, but they should have.
Yes.
Because this was the thing. He said 6 million wasn't enough, and Israel must fall.
Okay.
And kill Trump, and where is your God, and trans pride flag plus AK-47 stickers. So 6 million wasn't enough, and Israel must fall. So the anti-Semitism, the resurgence of it on the right is relatively new, but on the left, it is a feature, not a bug. Anti-Semitism is baked into it. So my guess is that this weirdo got involved in leftist communities through the transgender connection.
No, for sure.
And then part of that is the hatred for Israel, because because pretty much everything the left swirls around basically two like major things, which is hating Jews and hating capitalism and hating freedom and itself. They despise they despise individualism, individual liberty. They favor the collective.
But then the gun thing. Usually liberals are against the guns.
Not communists. Not communists.
They like guns. Communists.
They do. Yes,
okay.
as a matter of fact, yeah. The biggest communists are always heavily armed. Communists,
But they can't be armed in communist countries.
well, yes, they can because they're the government.
Oh, the government, yeah, but like normal citizens.
Right, they're not allowed to own guns unless they
Right.
join the military, right? Unless they join the government, right? And then they're in favor of one party state, one party. Two parties is too many for them. But it's about communism and it's about anti-Semitism, and it a lot of it sparks back to like the old conspiracy theories of the protocols of the elders of Zion. A lot of it is based in truth, which is that Jews originated capitalism. They also originated communism, but they don't care about that. But the capitalistic fervor is blamed on the Jews because of shekels, money.
Right.
They see a coin and money, right? So, and because they see the money is the root of all evil, they say everybody just goes down to it's Jews, right? Jews are the root of all evil. So it's anti-Semitism is a feature of leftism. It's a bug of conservatism. It's not anti-Semitism is not endemic to conservatism. Some aspects of it that are like the extreme social conservatives, right, for example, are. But on the left, it is the point. The anti-Semitism is the point. So you you can't pass on to the higher levels of leftist society without accepting hatred of Jews and of Israel.
There's like a hierarchy,
and including
like
Jews.
Self-actualization, right there.
Correct. And Jew hatred is part of is like the highest level,
Right.
And in order to like get on to like Tom Cruise levels of thetans, you need to hate the Jews, which is fascinating because most of the people who are behind it, who are advocating it, are Jews themselves, but they're atheist Jews.
Right. Oh yeah, we know some.
Yeah, we do. We know a few. Exactly. Yeah.
We know Jews who are pro-Gaza.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. It's like the homosexuals for Gaza, right? It's like, go there, visit there, try it out, see how it is.
Yeah. Like Robin, I don't think Robin would do very well in Gaza, for example.
I think Robert would have been thrown off a building long ago, which turns out may have been in all of our best interests, sadly.
Yeah.
Throw people like Robert off a building. How does that sound? Ilhan Omar, why does she live in the United States? She doesn't live in Somalia. She lives in the United States. Right. In Somalia, I don't think that they have strong female leaders like Ilhan Omar in Somalia.
No, we were just watching that movie recently. I always forget what it's called. Something about daughter. It's about a woman who has a husband who's Middle Eastern, and he has her move to the Middle East with her daughter, and he basically makes her stay there, and she has to fight to get out. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a place, especially for women, to live if they want to be free.
Not a great place.
Yeah.
So we covered the anti-Semitism part of the Jewish part of this.
I highly doubt. The only anti-Semitism connection I can point to here is the fact that he killed children specifically, and it might be because of his anger about, us killing us, meaning Americans or Israelis, killing children in Gaza. So he might be like an eye for an eye, like, you kill kids, I'm going to kill kids. I don't think
it was that serious. I think it was. Okay. I think it was more about their genitals than it was about international policy. From what I'm reading, it was much more of the obsession with hormones, transgenderism, hating Trump.
He was obsessed with hormones.
Yeah, of course, like transitioning.
So yeah, I mean, like. So he was probably on some sort of like female hormones, which probably was causing him to have mood swings and, changes in personality, as us women do during PMS time, right? Yeah. So maybe that was causing some of this animosity.
So they wrote "Kill Trump" and "Where's Your God" on magazines, and the trans pride flag had an AK-47 on it, and people like which of course causes people on MSNBC to say things like this.
I think it's either like you have to be honest and say what will actually work, which is what nobody wants to hear, which is that there are just simply way too many firearms and they're way too accessible. And even if they're
too powerful?
And they're too powerful. Even handguns, too. Again, that's why in Australia, it just doesn't matter if it's not politically acceptable to say it. I'm not here as a politician or anyone who works in politics. I'm a journalist. Whether or not you like it, the only thing that really works, if you really wanted to bring down gun violence, was to do what Australia did and to do what many other countries in Europe do. I realize I will get so much hate mail over this.
As you
People
should.
will tell me that I'm a communist and
You
all these
are.
other things, and I'm so terrible, which also only reinforces the point, as I will definitely get, some sort of like
blowback,
not just blowback, but like threatening blowback, which is to say, like, these people like who are supposed to be so law-abiding are so quick to tell me
Look at that man's face.
Look at her face, man. They're all laughing at him. They think he's a stupid communist.
Oh boy, he's digging himself a hole. But the only person that can stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. And as the Jewish holidays are approaching this September, the high holidays, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, a lot of Jews are going to be going to synagogue. And what we now have at a lot of synagogues is armed guards because, we are scared that there's going to be attacks at synagogues. And I feel safer being protected by a good guy with a gun. I don't know about you, but I certainly do.
I think you know how I feel surrounded
Right.
by. I'm literally surrounded by firearms right now.
Absolutely. And it's like, sure, I get it, like guns are getting in the hands of people who shouldn't have them, but bad guys are always going to find a way to hurt people.
That's right. This mentally ill person who shot up this school, they stabbed a diagram of the church. So they had like a diagram of the church and he took a knife and was like stabbing the church.
Oh my goodness.
Shot a target that had an image of Jesus on it.
Okay, so right there, that's the religious trauma, the hate of religion. Like there's some deep, deep wounds there. Like when you stab something, I mean, that shows a lot of like anger and pain, and that's a forceful act, very much.
Yeah. MSNBC yesterday, before the bodies were cold, was reporting like this.
The shooter, right? What his ideological views might have been, what his own personal situation was. And this is the time where, unfortunately, Americans have a habit on social media of speculating about things and sometimes vilifying communities and making assumptions about communities who might be responsible before we have any information that would indicate who is responsible or whether they're part of any particular ideological or other community. So I think right now it's unsatisfying, but we need to just wait, not jump to conclusions. What is this administration?
Now remember, wait.
Is she a therapist?
Hold on one second.
She sounds just like a therapist.
Hold on 1 second. This is the setup. She's been saying, let's wait. Let's not jump to conclusions, but wait until you hear the next thing that she says.
What is this administration doing right now other than saying our prayers are with you? We have a president right now who's talking about sending the National Guard into cities across the country that supposedly have a crime problem. Can we talk about the proliferation of firearms in this country? This is not.
Don't jump to conclusions.
Who's putting the cart before the horse
And
here?
also, it's Trump's fault.
What?
Let's not jump to any conclusions about the shooter, but also it's Trump's fault.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. And what is this whole thoughts and prayers thing? That is a plug. This thoughts and prayers quote is being pushed out to all of the mainstream media, being like thoughts, prayers. Come
and
on.
prayers. That's what they're
Push
attacking.
that out, guys. Push that out. Like what?
Well, they're attacking religious people. They hate religious people.
I can see this.
Yeah.
Like I have never heard anybody being offended by thoughts and prayers before.
Here's the
like
thing.
even us as like not religious people.
Yeah.
Like we appreciate prayers. Whenever someone's like, "We'll pray for you," we're like, "Please
Thanks.
pray for us."
Well, I don't say that, but I just
like
say
that helps. That helps anybody.
it might help you. I mean, I have my own feelings about it.
Yeah.
I'm not a leftist. I don't like resent people for having their deeply held views. I don't have to share their views to understand that what somebody says when they're saying thoughts and prayers, it's kind of like saying, I love you. I'll be thinking about you.
Right.
And that's what I say.
I say it all the time when
Yeah.
someone's going through a hard time. Oh, I'm really thinking about you, sending you, positive energy, whatever.
I don't want to sound queer or nothing, but sometimes I even tell my guy friends, I love you, bud.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, people don't say it enough. And I think Robert did not hear I love you enough. That's why he has so much pain.
I don't know about that.
I don't know.
I don't know about that.
Maybe
I
he was
don't know.
loved too much, and now he feels entitled.
Yeah,
know.
spare the rod, spoil the child, perhaps. I don't know. Like there's some people who, like, their lives will be improved by a good beating. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know enough about his
I'm
past.
not saying that's not always the case.
And where's Dad? Where's Dad? We don't know much about Dad.
Daddy wasn't there. Daddy didn't care. Here's what the police in Minneapolis said.
I am the Minneapolis police chief. Earlier today, just before 8:30 a.m., our city experienced an unthinkable tragedy. Minneapolis police officers responded to a report of a shooting at a mass that was happening at the Annunciation Roman Catholic Church on the block behind me. This worship service was marking the first week of school for children that are attending the Annunciation Catholic School. During the Mass, a gunman approached on the outside on the side of the building and began firing a rifle through the church windows towards the children sitting in the pews at the Mass. Shooting through the windows, he struck children and worshipers that were inside the building. The shooter was armed with a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol. This was a deliberate act of violence against innocent children and other people worshiping. The sheer cruelty and cowardice of firing into a church full of children is absolutely incomprehensible.
It is incomprehensible. It's just a shame that we have to live in a country where we celebrate and glorify mental illness. I don't know if there's some Spartan version of society that could potentially exist that could solve these kinds of problems, but you know, it does activate the conservative impulses in me.
It just keeps happening again and again. And again, I mean, like, it's kind of like the airplane crash thing where, like, every time we see a shooting on the news, we think it happens all the time. But really, on a day-to-day basis, you know, do these mass shootings happen as frequently as we feel they do? I don't know. I'd have to see the statistics.
Pretty rare.
Right. But every time it happens, it seems like, oh, the same thing happened again. You know, this is just so predictable, right? Yeah, it's just like, and I know too, this kid, Robert, he looked up to other previous shooters. He like idolized them from what I was reading. And it's just like, these people are like serial killers. I guess I would maybe label them as like serial killers, you know, psychopaths. Their brains are just wired so differently. And I don't really understand the brain of a psychopath, but
And
they're all very similar.
I have heard about
in that
a
they're
whole
like
lot of
cold
hate that's being
and they're just, they admire people who kill people. It's just so creepy.
At our trans community. Anybody who is using this as an opportunity to villainize our trans community or any other community out there has lost their sense of common humanity.
Fuck that guy, man.
I mean, you know, no, it's not all people in the LGBTQ plus community that are causing violence. Of course not. But I think the things that a lot of them believe in are causing them a lot of anger, which is making them do these kinds of things.
It's kind of like the incidence of the rate of suicide bombings on the Southern Baptist community is quite small.
Yeah.
The rate of suicide bombings in the Wahhabist Islamic tradition, quite high.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Even
right, certain people are more prone to
even when
creating
adjusted,
violence than
even
others.
when adjusted for inflation or per capita.
Right.
There's an illness in transgenderism and leftism and communism. They operate in a similar cult fashion. They operate in a similar cult fashion. They operate it and they recruit. They recruit.
Right, with like the drag queens.
Remember, no one is coming for your children. Why do you think that they do the drag queen story hours? How come that? Here's the thing. Here's a question for you, Stephanie. Why don't the drag queens ever go to the senior homes and read to the senior citizens?
I'm sure they do. I mean,
no, they don't.
They do drag queen bingo for adults. I've been to it.
Stephanie, why don't they go read stories and hang out with the senior citizens at the old folks' homes?
Exactly. Yeah.
Why do they want to
They should, honestly.
I would love to see
I mean, it might make the old people laugh.
I think it would, actually. It'd be like a clown circus, except I would be afraid they might shoot the place up these days. Quest Fanning says, once in 100 years, a neighborhood has a really shitty day. That is the day we hear about. Of course.
Yeah, that is actually a really good question. Why don't transgender drag queens go to nursing homes?
Because they want our access to our children. Steelbringer says we need a silence. I'm not one to assume his insanity was a result of trauma. His insanity could have easily just his twisted normal experiences into transgression against his ego. Man, those are some big words for the early in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, he probably was bullied by people. He probably was criticized by a lot of people. People who are transgender, I mean, they have a lot of pain inside, because they really struggle a lot with their identity. They struggle a lot with judgment. So it's like they just have this like natural anger towards the world, feeling like they don't fit in. And so he clearly was channeling that anger to the wrong people.
Just a real quick aside for people who are interested. We have been raising money for the bonus content today, and we do have bonus content for you today. So thank you for all the thoughts and prayers and donations. We do appreciate all of them. And we've raised just an update. We've raised $26 towards the $75 and $100 goal. Significant number. Thank you all.
Thank you. Our Javier Malay San t-shirt has gone viral.
Did you see that Javier Malay shared it? It was pretty exciting.
Malay did share it, and we've gotten some sales this morning because of it. So we're very thankful. And if you want to get your hands on a Javier Malay San t-shirt, go to forlibertyshop.com. You can be just like our friend in Japan who literally ordered one from our shop.
And Amsterdam. We sent one to Amsterdam. And Texas. Yeah.
Yeah. So people from all around the world, they love Javier Malay. They love our stuff because you can't get it just anywhere. That's the thing.
So I love this because it has to be translated by Grok. Let me show the original. Malaysan dosi dekides. Hosorati garasi ma lakidakaya.
Oh, that sounded really good,
Thank you. Faking Japanese. I'm pretty good at it. Yeah. Malaysan t-shirt has arrived, she said. Government out. Malaysan at AP for Liberty. She posted it. Look at it. It has 221,000 views. Everybody's like, where can I buy it?
Yes.
And they're sharing our link. It's the only place in the world where you can get the Malaysan shirt. I had to have a friend of mine who speaks Japanese make sure that that it's correct. But basically, it's like government out. So it's like the Japanese version of
Afuera.
Afuera.
Oh, wow. That's a cool soundbite. I like that.
Thank you. So we're kind of celebrating this morning the international fame of our Javier Malay-san. Shogun of Liberty is the name of the shirt. So you can get, if you want to unlock the bonus content today and you want to be like the fun international community of people, of the very few people who own this t-shirt that I designed myself, you can get it at forlibertyshop.com. That's the number 4, libertyshop.com. Grab the Malay-san t-shirt, Shogun of Liberty t-shirt, endorsed by none other than Javier Malay himself. And boy, are the comments great. If you guys want to have fun and see how well the For Liberty Network is out there kicking ass, check it out. Malay-san, Javier Malay reposted it. I wish I could speak Spanish. And look, this is our friend who bought it. It said, arigato, Malay-san. Yeah.
Cute.
All the Japanese people out there being really kawaii this morning. But ellos no saben que soy un mogolico. Sí, lo sabemos. I have no idea what any of that means.
Sure.
Anybody?
Soy is R, to be. I don't know. Anyone who speaks Spanish?
They don't. I think it's supposed to be it's on a popular meme that says no. They don't know that I'm something. I don't understand, but
Magiloco. I don't know.
Yeah.
That you're magical. I don't know.
Yeah, everybody's sharing the meme, the images. We've had a ton of traffic on our site. Everybody's like translating it. And apparently, did you see this yesterday? I showed you this video. Look at this. This is Javier Malay getting pelted with rocks. Take a look at this. He was out there yesterday. That was like something else that they threw at him. But you can see at one point, one of these protesters showed up and actually threw a rock at his head. Boom.
Oh my God.
That one there. Very dangerous. That's his sister,
would hurt
Karina.
so bad.
Yep. I mean, there's still socialists out there in that country. I hope that he has good bodyguards. It's dangerous
He needs to
stuff.
wear a helmet or be behind glass or something. He's a little too out in the open there.
Yeah, I agree.
He's going to get
He kind of prides himself as a man of the people, but the irony is that the more popular you become with the people, the more protected you need to be from the crazies that are out there, as we've seen with this. It's dangerous
Scary.
stuff.
Yeah.
But we owe Javier Milei a big debt of gratitude. He's he's done a lot for us. He doesn't even know.
And we've never even talked to him personally.
Never even talked to him. Never even met him.
We've like communicated with him through other people.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, and we sometimes get these mysterious calls from like Argentina for people who are like, do you speak Spanish? Can you come on Argentina TV? And I'm like, I don't know, habla.
No.
Sorry. I could have gotten so much more popular in Argentina if I spoke Spanish, but
I know.
in between all the other things that I'm doing for the For Liberty Network. But we've got an exciting announcement, 2 or 3 exciting announcements come up if everything pans out.
Goodness.
One for sure that we locked in. We've got an exciting announcement. Only the insiders on the network know what's coming. But we've got one big thing coming. We're working on another huge thing, life-altering thing that could happen for us. And a lot of it is coming because of our network. We were talking about this, was it this morning or yesterday? What you were saying, Austin? You're like, your network, but
probably yesterday.
the Discord channel, people like Joel Ledamore, Steelbringer, Quest Fanning, people who are doing a lot for us. Looks like we just actually sold. Yeah, Joni just went and got herself a Taxation is Theft Sweethearts Candy V-neck t-shirt.
Oh, I made that.
Good job, Steffi. Thank you. Go. Joni went and got one.
Thank you. It's good for Valentine's Day or just being cute.
Just being cute.
But yeah, it's all about networking. I once had a supervisor who told me that 90% of the jobs you get are because of networking and 10% are because of pure skill and luck. And it's so true in life that you have to make connections. That's what it's all about. Trump would tell you that too. It's all about, making the deals, making the connections. And I know it sucks to be social and be nice to people, but you have to be.
Yeah.
That's how you get somewhere.
That's why sometimes you'll see me doing something for somebody for free that, we have friends that you know of that they don't really do anything for us. We just kind of do stuff for them and maybe they'll pay us back one day. Maybe they won't, but it's kind of like you create a system, like a healthy network of like, not IOUs, but just sort of like reciprocal favors, do favors for people, right? Help people out.
Isn't that what the mafia does? Can you do me a favor?
No, because the mafia demands payment for it. The mafia wants the money. So,
Yes.
But thank you, Joni. She helped us.
Joni.
Yeah, she helped us get closer to the bonus content this morning. So we're at $58 raised towards the $78 and $100 level. We're actually really well on our way.
Just wait till we get to Taylor Swift. You all are going to be throwing money at us.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, but we are going to have Camellia Peterson on in less than 10 minutes here in the show.
Wow,
Yeah.
the time. What time is it? It's already 8.
It's 7:51.
Time flies. I was going to say when you're having fun, but it's like
It's been a difficult.
It's hard to be cheery and
Yeah.
happy about shootings and stuff, but you got to set boundaries around it. It's like, it's okay to think about the bad stuff in the world, but you also have to think about the good stuff in the world, because it's like nothing is all black or white, right? There's some good stuff mixed with bad stuff. And so you got to look at all the sides, the yin and the yang.
He is bad at pattern recognition. We aren't. Just 2 years ago, another trans 20-something walked into a Christian school in Nashville with a rifle and shot 3 kids and 3 adults. They buried the manifesto and locked down the case. We've seen trans shootings in Colorado and in Maryland. They even shot up an ICE facility in Texas. And it seems like half of Antifa's trans. A couple of they-thems just got popped for firebombing Teslas. The mayor of Minneapolis says you can't say that.
Anybody who is using this as an opportunity to villainize our trans community or any other community out there has lost their sense of common humanity. We should not be operating out of a place of hate for anyone. We should be operating from a place of love for our kids.
I don't hate anyone who thinks they're trans. I feel sorry for them. But statistically, the trans population has been prone to violence. That's not villainizing, that's reality. And if you can't recognize reality, you're in danger. We love the American people, especially American children. And if they're troubled and believe they're somehow a girl trapped in a boy's body, we want to get them help. We don't want to give them hormones and operate on them. Society shouldn't be trying to produce more trans kids. We shouldn't be encouraging an emotional disorder or whatever this is. And doctors should stop profiting from it. Great.
It is true. Hurt people hurt people. And so this person is clearly hurting whatever has caused them to hurt. And so they're hurting other people because of that.
Do you think we ought to be doing surgery on these people, Stephanie? I really start to wonder if it doesn't just make it worse, to be quite honest.
Well, it's still really hard for me to like come to a full, consensus on all this. But I know for sure children should not be getting surgeries because, then when they're 18 years old, they might regret it.
Have you always felt that way?
Gosh, I mean, I think back when I was a liberal and I voted for Obama, I don't even think transgender issues were a thing. Like I didn't know about transgender
They were,
surgeries
but not everybody was
then.
talking about it yet.
Right. So I don't even know if I really had an opinion on it. But in terms of adults, like I always go back to Sarah Higdon. She is transgender. She has had full surgeries, right? And she's not shooting up schools. She's doing good for the world. And so I'd like to believe that there's a lot more transgender individuals like Sarah out there. We just don't see them on the news. So I'm sure, surgeries help some people so that they can just, clear up, the dysmorphia that they're experiencing.
We have a friend, Sarah Higdon.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking about. Is like
went surgery.
So whenever I think about surgery, I think about her, and I think she has said that it's really helped her to feel better in her skin.
You know what? I love her as a human being.
Yeah,
but I don't know if I believe her. And here's the thing: I think she'll regret it.
Right. And she said to us, she's not sure if she'll ever regret it. She thinks, it's possible that she'll regret it one day because there are a lot of side effects after surgery.
If you truly love someone, do you endorse them doing something that like engaging in self-harm? If they were cutting themselves, their legs.
Oh,
right?
yeah, no, then, that's something you would definitely get them help for. You would make them stop.
Then why do we, it's like affirming someone who's a cutter. Right. It's like saying, okay, yes, affirm cut yourself. That's what you, that's going to affirm who you are inside.
But then I kind of equate gender reassignment surgery to plastic surgery. So the people who get lots of plastic surgery, like, I don't know if you used to watch that like Swan show, but the Swan show was where it took like ugly people or people who didn't think they were attractive. And it gave them all this plastic surgery, like facelift, boob job, liposuction, everything all around their whole body, which is basically like a reassignment surgery, like with all the surgeries they had. So I'm like, should we stop people from getting plastic surgery to change their physical features? Because I kind of see it in a similar way. Like they all have some sort of dysphoria where they don't think that they look how they should. Only one is just more gender related. It's really confusing for me. I don't know. I mean, I know the surgery helps them feel more comfortable in their skin and it helps them integrate socially into society, but not really. Because once they've transitioned into, this other gender, they still don't feel like they fit in because the LGBTQ plus community, they still push them out. Because it's like, which group will I fit in? I don't fit in with the cisgender people.
Can we go to Camellia on this?
Oh, absolutely. I'm sorry. I didn't know we were there.
No, it's all good stuff.
I was getting off on,
You're doing fine.
On a rant about
You're doing fine.
all this.
It's 7:57 a.m. Central Time here on the Wake Up America show. We're going to go get Camellia, have her react to this, and then I promise we've got some lighter topics to discuss later on the show. It's the Wake Up America show on the 4 Liberty Network.
Imagine bringing George Washington.
The reality is the tragedy that occurred today in Minneapolis is once again where the Democrats are ignoring some of the serious mental health challenges affecting young people in the United States, especially around gender identity, this transgender movement that they have fully gotten behind. On a broader level as a country, we have to take mental health much more seriously. I mean, look at the magazines, what was written on these magazines talking about going after Christians. Where is your God? Going after Israel. Actually writing there to kill Donald Trump. This is the insanity from the hatred that has come from the left. And so if they want to now come out and be mad at people who are trying to sympathize and empathize with the families, and especially the families of these two young kids that were lost, they need to re-examine everything about their party. It's not the time for politics. It's about comforting the families who have lost two young kids and then examining all the public policy so that this doesn't happen again. And I will tell you, once again, this is not about guns. This is about mental health issues that the radical left refuses to acknowledge comes from their crazy ideology, which is damaging so many children in the United States who are now becoming young adults.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Petersen. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show. That was Byron Donalds talking about the tragedy in Minneapolis, Minnesota. My wife, Stephanie, is here today. It's not Freedom Family Friday, but she's here because stories like these, you could stand to have a licensed therapist on set.
Hello.
Steffi, thanks for joining us.
No, you're welcome.
And joining us live right now, Camellia Peterson for a regular Thursday slot here on the Wake Up America show to discuss this tragedy and maybe a few lighter things a little bit later. Camellia, thanks for joining us today. It's a heavy topic, isn't it?
It's enormous tragedy that I think causes us to wrestle with these questions that as a society, like as we are more connected via the internet and we deal with all of the technological advances that are coming down the pipeline so very quickly that I think that we are struggling to adapt and figure out how this impacts humanity. And these, I think, are some of the outcomes that we see that we're going to have to figure out how to deal with.
Camellia, this story I was telling Stephanie earlier is the convergence of all of the toxic politics that our country has to offer. It has the anti-Semitic Israel angle. It has the transgender angle. It has the Catholic Church angle. It has the mass shooting with firearms angle. Where do we begin to unpack this thing? I think we can probably write off the Israel Jew angle thing for the most part, because what I think happened there is that it's not like this some intifada or something for Israel. It's just that man became a leftist because they were associated with transgenderism, and anti-Semitism is endemic to leftism in the modern world, right? It's sort of a new thing that we see on the right, a resurgence of anti-Semitism on the right. But for the most part, the left is like fully anti-Jew, anti-Israel. So I kind of write that off because I don't really think that it was about the Jews, because he shot up a Catholic school. So let's talk about that, because shot up a school where his mother worked and killed children. Mm-hmm. So from what you've read and the information that we have right now, what conclusions could we draw from the desire to attack a Catholic church and murder children?
I mean, I think we have to start at the root of the mental illness. I mean, and when you look at all of the things that he talked about, think back, 50, 75 years ago, before people were so connected, when you had, you did not as easily have copycat crimes because people didn't know as much about, them as you would now. So now it's so easy for people who are already prone to mental instability to be inundated with all of these things. And when they go looking, because those are those things that they're seeking out, it's easy to find all of these horrible things that then just feed into their own psychosis. And so it just amplifies that. I mean, just, 100 times maybe what it normally would have been. And so, there's so many things here. If this is where his mother worked, I mean, there clearly were issues at home, because you don't have a kid who has come this far in, his whatever he was dealing with, the transgender issues, is clearly far, far more than transgender issues. Like, people can say, oh, this is transgender people. This is not like this. We need to be able to say, like, look, when someone is dealing with gender dysphoria, yes, that is something that is a very real issue that I think needs to be dealt with from a mental health perspective. But I don't think that you can look at all of these things that he was into and say, okay, this is all trans people, or this is a transgender issue, because it's absolutely not that. I think it's just, the transgenderism is just one issue that was many in the things that he, had going on here.
Here's another angle, Camellia. You're hearing sound effects, right? Just making sure. Okay. Here's another angle from MSNBC yesterday, and then I'll get your reaction.
And say what will actually work, which is what nobody wants to hear, which is that there are just simply way too many firearms and they're way too accessible. And even if they're too powerful, and they're too powerful, even handguns too. Again, that's why in Australia, it just doesn't matter if it's not politically acceptable to say it. I'm not here as a politician or anyone who works in politics. I'm a journalist. Whether or not you like it, the only thing that really works, if you really wanted to bring down gun violence, was to do what Australia did and to do what many other countries in Europe do. I realize I will get so much hate mail over this. People will tell me that I'm a communist and all of these other things, and I'm so terrible, which also only reinforces the point, as I will definitely get, some sort of like blowback, not just blowback, but like threatening blowback, which is to say, like, these people like who are supposed to be so law abiding are so quick to tell me that, like, I ought to die or whatever else it is.
Or you better watch out.
Right. I think it's either like you have to be honest.
So there you go, Camellia. It's the guns.
Yeah, please do tell us about the crime rates in Europe and, what is happening to their daughters and their children in Europe. Please do. Go on and preach to us about that, because we know what's happening over there, and your lack of guns has not been stopping it.
Mm-hmm.
I just like that argument is just so ludicrous, but it is what they will cling to, because there has to be something to blame other than personal responsibility. And, I'm not going to lie, like that. I think that, in this information age and with all of these technological advances, like, it really, like, it is such a difficult thing to wrestle with. Like, how do you deal with and adapt to all of the different issues that come out of this while also protecting individual liberty? I think it gets much harder, right? I mean, to make some of those arguments, but that means it's much more important. It's more important now than ever to be making the case for individual liberty, because it is like things like this are how we will lose it in the blink of an eye, because now we even have people on the left who are questioning, the red flag laws and, thinking maybe we need to have more red flag laws. Like, maybe we do need to restrict guns more. It's just like they forget their own arguments that the guns are not the problem. It is the people who are, the people who are wanting to dead set on getting those things will get them anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah. Stephanie?
Oh, I completely agree with you. And like just recently, I just noticed, Austin, that you took down our gun, because now Hazel is walking around, and it's like, when you have children in the house, you do have to think about how can you prevent them from getting a hold of a gun, and how can you teach them how to use a gun in a safe manner? Yeah,
there's an age that a child is at where they have no concept of the danger that's involved with it. So
Hazel, I mean, she's basically like a demented old person right now, where she's just kind of walking around, picking up anything, throwing things around.
Yeah, we sometimes get a little miffed at my dad because he loves to hide his gun under a rag on the couch. And so now Hazel can actually walk around, get around. It's kind of like, Dad, you're gonna have to put that shit away before we get there, because it's dangerous. People, there are a lot of accidental shootings because of children who get access to them, and so it's important to be responsible. Now, it's also important to be responsible and have a gun ready if you need to shoot a bad guy. But you just have to be. There's smart ways to hide it, to protect yourself. But other than the gun angle, let's move off the gun angle for a while. The problem that the left seems to have identified, MSNBC specifically, is conservatives talking about thoughts and prayers. Camellia, take a listen.
As an elected official, you are on the ground with your folks and you appreciate this journey. I agree with the mayor. I'm not, the thoughts and prayers, I'm so beyond that nonsense, the lie of that.
The lie.
Because what we have are people who continue to stand in the way of actually doing something to stop the violence against their own.
Camellia, you know, we're looking at, I feel bad for the religious people watching the show right now because they're kind of not represented on the show right now to some extent. But here we are, a panel of non-believers, and I'm on their side, on the believer side, the thoughts and prayers side. I'm with the people who say thoughts and prayers. You seem to be nodding. You agree?
I mean, why would you want to discourage people from having sympathy and empathy for these people? Like this is not, you know, they want to, this is their way of showing their humanity. Like, if you cannot have thoughts and prayers, like, where is your humanity? I mean, like, are they ruling out the thoughts too? Because when people say thoughts and prayers, like, they're also saying, we feel for you. You are in our hearts and your minds. We're thinking about you. And how terrible would it be if everybody was like, oh, that's nice. Good luck with that. Right. I mean, there's no one else that is dwelling on the hurt and the grief and the tragedy that our fellow humans are experiencing. Like that would be the true tragedy, is if they're saying, you guys should just stop saying that, stop expressing those things because it doesn't do anything. I don't understand that at all. And, clearly, all of the things that they've been doing in these leftist cities to fix these things are not working. So now they're just going to say, don't do that either. And also, it's insulting because they are saying that these people are disingenuous. And I think that's terrible. I absolutely think we should encourage people to be thinking about, the victims of these crimes and their families. And because that is what makes us function as a society, is being able to, feel for and connect with our fellow humans. We would be a terrible place if it was not that way.
How do you feel about like the comments that you get from like the mayor of Mayor Frey, the guy who was spotted wearing a mask, sobbing his eyes out at the casket of George Floyd, the golden casket of George Floyd, have you seen this guy? This is the guy who's involved.
I don't know anything about this.
Yeah,
Wow.
this Jacob Frey. He's the mayor that I've been playing.
Do a press release. Yes.
Yeah. This is the guy here. I've got his clip. Hold on. It's 30 seconds.
All of us. And I have heard about a whole lot of hate that's being directed at our trans community. Anybody who is using this as an opportunity to villainize our trans community or any other community out there has lost their sense of common humanity. We should not be operating out of a place of hate for anyone. We should be operating from a place of love for our kids.
I'm not sure how can you tell people not to hate the person who killed
Right, it'd be
kids?
like, don't hate Hitler.
Don't hate Hitler. Is it okay if I hate Hitler, dude?
Right.
Camellia, go ahead.
Well, and he's talking about like the blowback on the trans community, of course. And the thing is like, it is not coming from a place of love to ignore the very real issues that go on within the transgender community for people who have gotten themselves involved in that because they're struggling to deal with issues in life, and this is what they see as the way to do it, and they're misguided and they're confused, and they've got all of this input from people saying, oh, this is what you are. Stick this label on yourself. Put these medications in your body. Like you are not operating out of love when you are feeding into those kind of mental health issues. And if you want to talk about that, their failure to fix the problem, I think their failure to fix the problem is not focused focusing on the root of it, which is how we deal with mental health issues. Like I know I sent you something, and I've been kind of hung up on this one guy's account on Instagram that talks a lot about mental health and what we've been doing with that, and the mistake of going down the rabbit hole and basing everything we do in psychology on Freud, because it takes away the personal responsibility element. And, you know, one of the things that he mentions is that we've incentivized mental illness. It's what gets you attention. And you know, we've talked about before, attention is currency in this digital age. And, you know, we have, as he said, we have weaponized fragility. So, you know, you are, you know, if you say you have any sort of mental illness at all, then we have to treat you in a very special way, as if you are fragile, to be very careful that we don't offend you. And we're not helping you in this process. We are just creating a space for you to dig in further and to not do the things that you actually need to do to treat those problems.
Mm-hmm. Just going to the Freud thing. I'm kind of I like Freud stuff. I like psychodynamic, and I always like to look at someone's past because I think it gives us clues as to why they are how they are. So I think it helps with understanding, but you're right. The personal responsibility comes in. So it's like, okay, we can now understand, you know, why I'm angry, but now it's my responsibility to channel that anger in a healthy way. And so that's where I completely agree with you. Like, you can learn ways to not let your past continue to haunt you.
Right. And I think that, I mean, and agree, like, you know, we should, it's kind of like, you know, knowing what our biological imperatives are, right? Mm-hmm. You know, we can know the why of why we do things, but that doesn't, like, that should not become an excuse for being that way, right. Or for continuing in that. And that's kind of one of the points that this guy makes, is that, you know, one of the things that's kind of come out of that is that we encourage people to continue to dwell on those things over and over again. And when you do that, they actually start to become bigger in your mind, and they become your present, so to speak, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It is, yeah, we've gotten out of balance, I guess is probably the best way to put that. And I think we're seeing the outcome of that now in, you know, how people deal, and how we've kind of made mental health issues a way to get attention. And I think that was a lot of what was going on with this young man. Like, it is terrible, terrible what he did. But it also, to me, in a way, is there's a heartbreaking element to what happened with him in his life that he got to this point. Like, what went wrong where? Like, what needs did not get filled? And let's also acknowledge here, too, that we still, like, are nowhere near close. Like, science gets a little better all the time, but we do not understand the human brain. But we do understand how that your hormones get out of whack, and all of these chemical imbalances can really affect you. But I think that there is still that element that we don't like to acknowledge, that sometimes people are broken in ways that we are not necessarily going to be able to fix with behavior therapy, with medication, whatever. And so we've come so far to the opposite end of that, with not acknowledging that I think that we have opened the door to these kind of things.
Yeah, you can't cure a psychopath. You can't.
Right.
You can only, like, teach them how to redirect their behaviors, but which is really hard.
Yes.
The way that the media reported on this was interesting, Camellia. I'm not sure if you heard this clip, but did you see the magazine and what it had said? The 3 words that it had said with Donald Trump. It said "Kill Donald Trump" on there.
Oh yes, yes.
Listen to how ABC News. You're good with words. Listen to how ABC News reported this.
We've also been going through it and can tell you there are crude diagrams of the church. There are also photos of the weapons, and they include all sorts of writings, the names of past mass shooters, criticism of Israel, the name of President Trump written on the guns. There are also racial slurs, nihilistic statements, all painting the picture of a disturbed individual who carried out this mass shooting. We've also been going through it and can tell you there are.
So it had Donald Trump's name on it. Now, if you had just heard that and didn't know that it said "Kill Donald Trump," Yeah.
Right. This is their way of trying to say that, maybe he was a pro-Trump guy, right?
Yeah.
And racial slurs. I mean, it's like, it's some racist bigot who loves Trump.
Here's what we're learning as this story is developing. The mom and dad were actually supportive of him, apparently.
Oh, so there is a dad.
Yeah,
okay, I couldn't find a dad.
Manifesto said his family and friends were very supportive. That kind of throws a monkey wrench into the whole religious trauma thing. But I guess you can have religious trauma even if your parents do love you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and what does supportive mean? What does that look like? Like when they say that did he say his parents were supportive? Is that what you're saying?
In his manifesto, his journal.
Oh, he did.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So here's the thing. Like, I guess the question for me is, in what way were they supportive? Like, were they supportive of his psychosis? Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because for some people, that's their way of like, this is who you are. We support who you are. You do you. And, we're going to do whatever we can to come around and accept you as you are. Right. And so like that's not necessarily a healthy thing. In fact, a lot of times you will see the opposite in people like this, where they will say that they had terrible relationships with their parents or they didn't support them. So, maybe again, the key is the balance. And I think that parents are afraid. I think a lot of times to push back because they are afraid that they will push their child who is struggling with these things the opposite way, so that they'll do more damage if they come down too hard. So I will give you a little personal experience here.
Let's hear it.
We adopted my brother when I was 12 and he was 8 years old. And it was a complicated situation. It was basically an uncle of mine's ex-wife who was not my uncle's son, but she had the boy, and she just decided she didn't want him anymore. And her excuse was that she was joining the army, so she couldn't have kids, right? And so, my parents were not just going to let them, give him away to anybody. Mm-hmm. And so he's 8 years old. So we took him in, but it just became so apparent so very quickly that we just had no idea what kind of things he had been exposed to. And there were little things that came out, even in, things that came out while he was sleeping, like behaviors and things that he would do. And just all those little behaviors came out, and it was hard for my parents to know how to cope with that. And I think they did the very best they can, but they were not necessarily equipped to deal with some of those things as well. And we're talking, this is a long time ago now, but and the truth is that he never really got better. Like, he struggled his whole life. He struggled with with drug abuse, all kinds of things. And I'm fairly certain we would lose track of him for years at a time, and I'm fairly certain he is now in prison. But it is you just can, if my parents had said, everything that you're doing is good and fine and whatever, that's not the answer, right? But, being, absolute, cracking down on every little thing, would that have pushed him the other way? So I do think as parents, sometimes you do the best that you can, and you don't have all the answers. But I also think, too, that this is where we have not given parents the resources, and I'm not saying institutionalize anybody, but we completely took away that option, and we started closing down all of the facilities that deal with troubled kids like this. We did a lot of damage to society in general by taking away all those options.
Go into more detail on that.
Yeah, there was a time, everybody knows this, there was a time, at our point in history where, you could be institutionalized for being depressed, right? Men could put their wives, into a sanitarium, right? Just because they were, postpartum
Make America great again.
Right? Oh, we watched a movie about that, about the sanitarium with the Kellogg guy.
Yeah.
Right? Yes. But I mean, so that's not a good thing either. But kind of in the reaction, we are so kind of reactionary and trying to fix the problem, that we tend to go to the other extreme. And so the answer was getting rid of all of these things because there were very real problems with abuse and, terrible things that happened in institutions. I think because they attracted, those kind of people working there. But, to go totally the other way so that now we don't have any of that. And I worked with for several years before I was stay-at-home mom. I worked with kids with developmental disabilities and then adults with mental illnesses. And so I dealt with a lot of those kind of group homes and those units where kids would go to when they were struggling and they needed just somewhere to stay and, get medications adjusted, get therapy, like whatever else they needed to do. But we have increasingly closed those places down. I have talked to people now who work in the mental health field, and they have fewer and fewer options for places to send those kids when their parents cannot handle them at home. They're not equipped to do so. And it's very, very hard. So you have is that you have these kids and these and adults too, cycling in and out of the psychiatry units in hospitals. And psychiatry units in hospitals they're not for long-term care. And so this is, I think we are starting to see a lot more people talk about the need to bring some of those options back because we are seeing stuff like this and the way that the mental illness issue has contributed to issues with safety and homelessness, on the streets of our cities. So there has to be, kind of an answer in the middle. And you do see a lot more conversation now about maybe we need to bring some of those options back.
Yeah. Camellia, that's a story I didn't know about you. So
yeah, thank you for sharing that. I know that's definitely a sensitive topic to talk about.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like something that a lot of people can identify with over there in the chat. So thanks to everybody who's joining us here live on the Wake Up America show. We're speaking to Camellia Peterson. Camellia, I've exhausted all of the time that I can, and I've exhausted you of your time. I'm so grateful that you join us here Tuesdays and Thursdays like clockwork, even when you're on the road. Thank you very much for joining us now. Is there anything that you'd like to plug or share with our audience before we let you go today?
I mean, you can always follow me on socials. I'm kind of Rare Camellia on Instagram and Twitter, most active on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. Most everything I post is public on Facebook, so it doesn't really matter if you friend me or not on Facebook. I don't like Facebook as much. But anyway, you can follow me there. And, parents, plug into, what your kids are. It's easy to get busy in life and not be we talk about being fully present. And, there have been times in my life where I had to consciously make the decision, because it's easy to take it for granted when you're busy and everybody's got their stuff going on, that your kids are all right. And I've had to make the decision to be very intentional about spending time and, attention. And so, and it's paid off in dividends. It's absolutely worth it.
There we go. Camellia Peterson. Richard Bell in the chat says, we need more females like Camellia and Steffi in America. Aww. Thanks, Camellia. We appreciate you.
I hope we can see you this weekend.
Yep. Hope to see you at the Renaissance Festival.
Okay. We're going to try.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Hey, Kai. I wasn't being an asshole. Hey, Kai. Don't worry about it, Kai. Me? Don't worry about it, Kai. These children are still young and stupid. Hey, knock it off. This is a public skate park, dude.
You don't call a kid stupid.
You can go home. You can go home. You want to go home?
You want to get out of my face?
No, I don't have to. If you want to get... look, kid. Hey, I'm not fucking around with any of you. Do you all understand? Do you understand, though? Shut the fuck up.
Have you noticed?
What is happening?
Okay, so this is a story. I saw this yesterday before the shooting happened. I had actually seen this. This was an incident that occurred at a skate park, a public skate park, where there was some difference of opinion held between this dude wearing a dress and started calling these kids stupid. And then Captain Save-A-Trans steps in. Here, take a look at this. Watch this first part of this again real quick.
Hey, Kai. Don't worry about it, Kai. Don't worry about it, Kai.
These children are still young and stupid.
Hey, knock it off. This is a public skate park, dude.
You don't call a kid stupid.
You can go home.
Look at this. Okay, so in order to defend the honor of the man wearing the dress, I don't know, could we call him Captain Savaho here, Sir Galacock? I don't know. Decides to get in the face of what appears to be a boy younger than Mario. It looks like, like a 13, 14-year-old kid here. And to defend the honor of the man in the dress, he decides to randomly assault a minor.
You want to go home?
You want to get out of my face?
No, I don't have to.
Yeah, you kind of do. Look at that. Boom. Right there. Violence. So when the transgender community isn't committing their own violence, they have people committing it on their behalf, apparently.
Wow. Yeah, allies are pretty powerful, for sure. Oh my goodness.
It's dangerous stuff.
Poor Hazel. I don't know.
She's got a dangerous world to grow up in. It's a sad thing to see. We got the bonus content unlocked. Phase one.
Great.
Phase one. Andy put us over the top. And all Quest Fanning, Drew Van Runkle, they've been really super generous. Joni Rankin, she went earlier. We sold a Tiny Patriots baby hat, was so cute.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Andy, we changed your coffee subscription address. Don't you worry. We did that for you.
We got that fixed for you, right?
Yep.
And people who text us at 573-319-1586, they know what's up. We're still so we're gonna play the bonus content now. We haven't unlocked phase 2, but we do have Will Smith in the building ready to go. Apparently, he really needs the money pretty bad. And so if we do, all we have to do is raise another $20.
Yeah.
And if we do, then that will unlock the bonus content to have the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air on our show today, which would be amazing. So
I think it's cool. I saw a little preview of him practicing, and
awesome. Well, he was kind of like getting jiggy with it.
Yeah,
and so we're gonna have him on the show. I'm sure we're gonna raise the next $20. I know we're gonna do it in the next 30 minutes, but we're gonna play the bonus content now. The first phase is unlocked. Thank you, everybody. We'll be right back. We're gonna talk about that. Javier Malay's sharing the hell out of our Malay merchandise this morning. It's super exciting. We're gonna talk about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift because I know it's on your minds. We'll be right back. It's the Wake Up America show on the 4 Liberty Network.
Oh, SMS bump is gone now, so we got to get rid of that page.
We're still live.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Oopsie.
Do American businesses require government subsidies to thrive? In a Thursday post on Truth Social, President Donald Trump wrote, "Everyone is stating that I will destroy Elon Musk's companies by taking away some, if not all, of the large-scale subsidies he receives from the U.S. government. This is not so," he added. "I want Elon and all businesses within our country to thrive, in fact. Thrive like never before." It's not by Chris Edwards, the Kilt's Family Chair in Fiscal Studies at the Cato Institute. In June, during a public feud between the two men, Trump posted that the easiest way to cut spending would be to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts, adding received $11.4 billion in state and federal subsidies, according to a February report by the Washington Post. Provide internet access to underserved and rural areas, has connected 0 people. Annual farm subsidies can range between. He could act on his promise to cut hundreds of billions of dollars in spending by calling on Congress to cancel all federal subsidies and allow American businesses to thrive or fail on their merit. Imagine bringing
Are you tired of the strange radioactive effects of leftist culture? Do you ever wonder what happened to good old-fashioned American values? Well, fear no more, because there's a new force fighting back against the cultural rot of today. Introducing Culturama, a right-of-center talk show that's taking back the future today. Hosted by none other than blonde bombshell herself, Daniela Pensack. She's not just talking, she's taking culture back. With sharp takes, brilliant guests, and a few surprises along the way. Tune in to the live video podcast twice a week, because the future doesn't have to be weird. It can be Culturama.
if there wasn't going to be somebody who was a fiery champion of liberty, somebody who would get out there and who would be aggressive, and if they wouldn't do it with more fire or passion than I had, then I would go and I would fight this battle for us. I've fought for the principles that we all share. Parties tend to be secondary to me. We're here because we believe in the principles of liberty. I am not a perfect messenger, but I think I'm a damn good one. This is a replica of our first president's flintlock pistol. You have my full support, my respect, and my gun.
I think that at the heart of my philosophy is much more libertarianism than well, that's the fashionable word these days, I guess. A conservative is no longer just that. He's a libertarian and always has been.
Yet any time you and I question the schemes of the do-gooders, we're denounced as being against their humanitarian goal. A little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
The conservative, so-called, is the one that says less government. Get off my back. Get out of my pocket.
Small batch roasted, Patriot approved, and disappearing faster than...
Welcome back to the Wake Up America Show. It's your host, Austin Petersen, hanging out here with the lovely Stephanie Petersen. Hi, Steffi.
Hello.
We're so thrilled that people have been so financially generous to us this morning on the Wake Up America Show. Have a pretty girl on the show if you want to make money in streaming, guys.
You're two pretty girls, me and Camellia.
Yeah.
I think she helped also.
I struggled yesterday. We didn't unlock the bonus content yesterday because it was just my fat butt. And today you were really, really into me. Here's the thing. Slick Willie will be here today.
I don't see nothing. I'm over here defending her honor, slapping comedians on live TV while she's out here hosting Red Table Talk Tinder edition. People say I'm cucked. Nah, man, I ain't cucked. I'm just relationship flexible. Yeah, that's it. Look, my AI fans are more faithful than Jada. At least they show up for me every night. And yo, that AI crowd video, people kept pausing it, zooming in, counting fingers. They're like, this lady's got 7 fingers. I'm like, good. That means she can wave faster. That's love. You know how bad it's gotten? Even the AI fans are whispering, blink twice if you need help. Well, and let's talk about the Oscar slap for a second. People say, Will, why'd you do it? Simple. Chris Rock told a joke about Jada, and I thought, hey, maybe if I slap him, she'll finally text me back. Spoiler alert, she didn't. Oh, man, my whole life now is AI. I don't got fresh prints, I got fresh prints. ChatGPT printing fake ticket sales. Used to save the world from aliens on Independence Day. Now I'm here battling deep fakes of my own fans. Used to be I am legend, now I'm just I am lonely. And every time Jada goes on other podcasts, I lose 10,000 fans. I'm not going to do any history. You can fight aliens, robots, and gangsters, but I can't win a fight at my own dinner table. But hey, big shout out to the AI crowd. At least when they cheer, I can program them not to say entanglement.
Welcome to the Wake Up America Show. That was Will Smith. Thank you, Will Smith.
That was really good. I'm curious to see this audience. I know you showed it yesterday, but I'm curious to see the audience that he made up.
Let me see if I can find a...
Sorry to put you on the spot about that, but, you know, it made me interested now that I listened to Will Smith.
Will Smith, AI...
I wonder if he does it himself, you know, if he does the AI himself or if he has a marketing person.
I'm sure he could still afford somebody. Yeah, here we go.
Right?
I got a video of it. Hold on. This crowd is AI, no way. Will Smith, what the hell did you do? Here we go. Look at it. Fake. Right there.
Really?
Yep. All right, so
It looks real to me.
Okay, that's AI
know.
right there. That's
How do
AI.
you know?
You can just tell. But here, this one's a little bit easier to see. But
You can make it
little
help me
bit
survive cancer.
You can
Thanks,
make it help me
Will.
survive cancer. Thanks, Will.
Their
yeah.
fingers look intact.
No, you got to count them. You got to count them. You have to look at them and count them.
Huh.
So yeah, some of these are AI. So what I don't understand, like, why not just get stock footage, like instead of generating it, because you can afford stock footage.
Right, but they would have to have signs that are personalized.
Oh, here we go. Looky
right?
there. Look at that. There
That's
you go.
just an Asian
Somebody zoom
person.
in.
That's an Asian person with a hat on.
Stephanie, stop
I don't
it.
believe it. Did he actually admit that it was AI?
No.
Oh, okay.
But there's like zooming in. There's one on the crowd.
Huh.
Yeah, because your eyes naturally gravitate towards the ones that look normal, because that's what it is. You're looking for faces.
Yeah.
Right? But looky here. See this? See their faces here? See how they're all smushy up there? Yeah, you can tell right there. The more faces that they have to do, the more warped that the images make.
I don't know.
yeah.
Cameras do weird things. Like we had some photos from a wedding we recently went to, and I feel like my nose looked like it like moved because I was like in motion. I don't know. Is that a selfie?
How many hands are holding up that camera is what I want to know. And then look at his face over there. Cameras don't do that right there. Look at that above his camera.
Maybe the camera they were using had a bad motion detector.
And it's possible that this guy is cross-eyed.
And why were there so many white people at his concert? That's the surprising thing to me.
No,
I don't think there'd be that many white people there, you know?
It's Will Smith.
Huh.
And then there's like some kind of like police officer with like a mustache and like a strange hat going on right there. So this is Big Willie. So I hope that you guys enjoyed and appreciate the bonus content.
I don't know. I want to trust him.
Okay. I love this meme. This is Taylor Swift going down the aisle at her wedding.
Oh, her private jet.
Somebody says in the chat, they said, I mean, I wouldn't have an issue with that. More time to prep for midterm. Dude, school just started. They just got into class.
Yeah, so I don't know if I believe it. Why is he having a midterm the first week of class?
Yeah, there's no L
That is weird.
L-Dubs is trying to make excuses for this gay boy and kicking him out of class for Taylor Swift.
I think it's fake. It's a setup for sure.
I love this. In case anyone needed further evidence, the majority of Taylor Swift fans are unhinged. I present you this. I'm scared, says Gaylor Swift. I'm genuinely scared watching how serious Taylor and Travis are becoming. Sometimes I wonder, what if they actually get married? What if she's really not queer at all? It feels like everything I believed about her could collapse overnight.
I didn't know she was queer.
If this is real and not some PR game, I honestly think I could end up in the hospital or worse. I don't know if I'd ever be able to listen to her songs the same way again. Her happiness looks so different from what I imagined. Like she's truly content going to his family's events and showing up to the games just for him. I don't know how to cope with the idea that maybe I never knew her at all.
This is someone with a parasocial relationship.
Yes.
I had a parasocial relationship with you, admittedly, where you feel like you truly have a connection with a famous person or somebody that like you can't touch because you just like learn so much about them and you see them every day and you feel like you have this legit relationship going on. And so then when that person does something to upset you, it like tears apart your whole world. And that's what these people are experiencing because they're just like, they feel like they're best friends with Taylor Swift.
Only real ones are going to get this next one. Taylor Swift fans tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of women are now going to be pressuring their guys and be like, "Hey, Taylor is getting married.
Stephanie,
put a ring on it."
Stephanie, do you get the joke of what that is? What's that's implying right there? Taylor Swift fans.
I don't know. Like girls want to get with her.
Now you guys know.
I don't know.
There's so many people in the chat.
What is that? I don't know.
Who know exactly what's happening here. It means you're a crappy lay, Stephanie, right? If you're Taylor Swift fans. So Prison Mitch has done a really good slam. Taylor Swift fans, because like, you know, if a woman goes into this position for
Oh, okay. Sexual
relations.
Yeah.
Then she's obviously very inexperienced in a crappy way because this is not a good position.
Oh, her back is all
Arched,
crooked.
it's arched the wrong way, you might say.
Okay.
So he's accusing Taylor Swift fans of all being terrible in bed, essentially.
Yeah.
That's a great.
Well, the Taylor
I'm
Swift
sharing
kind
that.
of love. The Taylor Swift kind of love is probably just like, so romantic, flower petals on the floor.
Do you guys know how innocent my wife
sensual
is?
kissing, beautiful music. That's what these women are
terrible
looking for.
sex is what you're talking about.
Well, for the women, they're like, oh, I want that. That's, my fantasy, like a love story.
Yeah, exactly. The type of women who, get into this position.
Because they don't want that.
Yeah, because
they want the flower
petals. They don't want
and the light kisses.
They don't want vigorous love making.
Absolutely.
They want it to be cold and dark and with blankets all around them, so the man can barely move. Maybe a little delicate touching and a kiss or two on the neck. Yeah, and then he finishes quickly, hopefully, and she actually gets to orgasm if she's lucky too. So. Once a year.
I mean, Taylor Swift needs to make a documentary about her love story. I think so many women would watch it.
Oh God.
Or maybe a Lifetime movie about Taylor
Bennett
Swift.
Phylactery says Taylor Swift does not have a biological clock. They're just going to buy a baby like any other gay couple.
No, I mean, she's of age. She's in her 30s. I think she's a little younger than me. So she's right prime time. Her eggs are ready.
Nah, she's used up. She's going to buy a baby. Nobody tell this woman the difference is Taylor Swift is one of the most rich and famous women in the world. Yeah, women, a lot of older women are celebrating here. Taylor Swift didn't start dating Travis until she was 33. She's engaged at 35. You have time. No.
Well, I'm saying you do have time because look, like I got out of my 14-year relationship when I was 30, like 30, 31. Mm-hmm. And then, I found you after that when I felt like it was hopeless.
Steffi,
so you do have hope.
You are, no, don't give women hope, Stephanie. Don't give them hope because they don't have hope.
I'm sure it's just a coincidence that the NFL starts next week and that the engagement is timed to perfectly sit in the middle of Taylor's album promotion, and also a coincidence that the two of them dating has made the NFL $1 billion, which is helpful considering that since 2010, the NFL has been chasing an unbelievably ambitious revenue target of earning $25 billion in revenue by 2027.
Yeah, that nose piercing there says it all. But
and she's got the vegan nose too, where it's like she looks like she's kind of like. Hold on, I'll put this up in the background. It can play while we.
But it's true. We've always said a good romantic relationship is set up like a business partnership.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how we operate, and we are more powerful together. We know that. So we knew that there was a benefit to us getting together, not only just because we liked each other, but because we're powerful as a business couple. And they are too.
We're kind of like a co-op. We're like Trader Joe's.
Right. Absolutely.
It's kind of communistic because we give each other stuff for free.
Yeah. But we, do favors for each other and things. So I think, Taylor and Travis, they're business-minded people. They know how it works. They're smart. They announce things at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
They were going to get engaged anyway, but they're like, hey, let's just move the date. Kind of like us. We made it Facebook official on Valentine's Day. It's like, come on, guys. Yeah.
We were manipulating you all so we could
we wanted to make it extra romantic. You proposed to me on Christmas. Timing.
Look at us trying to manipulate people.
Hello.
It was all about everybody else. It wasn't about us.
Right.
He proposed to her in the secret garden of her mind.
Right.
Brad freaking Beckman literally was telling me dude, did you see the size of the ring? I'm like, dude, will you just shut up?
Yeah, it was pretty big, but it didn't look like a normal diamond. Mine looks real. This is natural, not lab grown.
It was the gayest thing I'd ever heard him say. I was like, in my house, you come in here and start asking me about wedding ring sizes?
Yeah. Can I just say, the women that plan out their engagement with their guy, they make me mad, okay? Don't go ring shopping with your guy before you get engaged. I think that's stupid. Make it be a surprise. I think that's way the best. I literally said, oh my God, over and over again, 1,000 times when he proposed to me because I had no idea it was coming. I seriously had no idea. So be surprised. It's way better that way, guys. Don't plan it out. Mm-mm.
Taylor Swift is engaged. Taylor Swift is engaged. Taylor Swift is engaged. Come back to me. She just posted it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, it's huge. The ring is ginormous.
That was Brad Beckman yesterday here in my house.
Oh my God.
Look at her ring. It's so small.
Oh my God.
Look at that. You see her little diamond there down there?
It's on her Instagram.
She's so jealous. She's going to go tell her fiance right now, like, give me a bigger ring.
This is a very exciting moment for me in my professional career because I get to announce that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are engaged. As you're talking to Joe Lang, our lovely producer Gabby Ake texted me and said Taylor Swift's engaged, and you can see it right there on her social media. She put it up in that post that they got engaged with the caption, "Your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married," with a little dynamite sign there. So very
Diamonds, see diamonds on her
here
mind.
that we get to break that and tell you about that.
All right, Swifties for life. I have a feeling, though, based on his prior statements, the president will not be having a Taylor Swift wedding in the ballroom. Hopefully that can shift and change. We can have some world peace, right? Olivia Rinaldi, thank you so much.
Reed, I volunteered to cover it.
I mean, Taylor Swift has never had a true scandal, you know. She's like Hillary Duff.
She's
They're
had
just
scandals.
beautiful, innocent girls.
No,
They're talented. They mean well.
They're Jezebels leading women off a cliff. It's time for us to go.
No.
We'll be back tomorrow with Freedom Family. Stephanie will be back again tomorrow. Freedom Family Friday. Justin will be with us. Justin and I are both joining the Sons of the American Revolution together. We're excited about it. We'll tell you more details about that tomorrow on the Wake Up America shows for Liberty Network. Don't forget to watch Culturama tonight.
Be free.
Do American businesses to thrive, in fact, thrive like never before? He could act on his promise to cut hundreds of billions of dollars in spending by calling on Congress to cancel all federal subsidies and allow American businesses to thrive or fail on their merit.